Did you know that currently only 5% of people wait until they're 70 to start taking Social Security? But there can be some huge benefits for the right people to wait until 70. So let's go for a walk and talk about what some of those benefits are and why you might want to think about, or at least consider, waiting to 70 for your Social Security to start taking it. I say 5% today. In the 1970s, it was almost 0% of people waited. And the reason was, once you reached 65, the government didn't give you any bump in your payments for waiting. And that's the biggest reason right now to wait, is that bump in payments. In fact, the difference between taking your Social Security as soon as you can at age 62 and taking your Social Security at 70 is about 3/4. That paycheck, if you will, from Social Security is going to increase by about 3/4. So if you were going to get a check, the average Social Security check in 2022 is $1,800 a month for the average recipient. So let's just say you were going to get a check for $2,000 a month. In today's analysis, that 3/4 increase would take that $2,000 monthly Social Security check and make it $3,500, thereabouts. So that's the biggest reason to wait, is so that you get that bump. And for some people, taking Social Security before full retirement age, if they're still working and making a good salary, doesn't make sense, because there's a penalty that the government basically decreases your benefits by $1 for every $2 that you make. And in 2023, that limit, you can make just a little over $20,000 a year, a little bit more than that. But once you go above that limit, then the government starts decreasing your benefits by $1 for every $2 that you make. So if that's your situation, you love your job, you're making good money, you want to keep working, boy, that's a big penalty. And so that's a big reason why people wait until full retirement age. Now, once you reach full retirement age, which for most of us, if you're not taking Social Security now, full retirement age is going to be 67. Once you reach full retirement age, then that penalty goes away and you can make whatever you want to make without that penalty. I should say, this is not financial advice. I don't know your specific situation. I'm sharing this really for educational reasons and to give you things to think about and to look up on your own so that you can make the decision that's right for you. So why would you wait until 70? Well, if you don't need the money, one of the nice things about Social Security is it's kind of longevity insurance, right? Very few of us get pensions anymore. And those of us that do, if it's from a private sector employer, we probably don't get inflation adjustments every year. Now, a lot of government employees do get inflation adjustments, as well as people that retired from the military, the U.S. military. It is common to have an inflation adjuster there. But if you don't have that already, if you don't have a pension with a COLA adjustment every year, boy, if your family has longevity in it and you think you might live into your 90s, or maybe even to 100 or above that, boy, having Social Security be that $3,500 payment in this example as opposed to $2,000, that can be enormous, particularly if you don't need the money now. Right? If you don't need the money now, you're enjoying life, you're doing the things that you want to be doing. Either you've saved up a lot of money and you don't need Social Security in order to make ends meet, then it's longevity insurance that you and I have paid into. And why not have access to that, right? In case you do end up living to your 90s or your 80s. So, back in the day, not that long ago, like a decade ago, the analysis for deciding when you should take Social Security was really based on your break-even analysis. And if your break-even analysis was such that, for most people, the difference between taking Social Security at 62 versus full retirement age, that break-even occurs about at age 77. Everybody's situation is different. You have to run the numbers yourself. There is an online calculator that I'll link to. There's some reports that will be helpful for you to think about that I'll link to in the show notes. But the difference between 62 and full retirement age, which for most of us is going to be 67, the break-even age there is about 77. And the difference between full retirement age and waiting to 70, the break-even age there tends to be about age 82. So if you do have longevity, that's another reason, if you think you're going to live well beyond that age 82. Now, if you think you're just going to be within a couple years of age 82, yes, if you live 2 or 3 years longer, you would have been better off waiting until 70. But I won't stress too much about that situation because, yes, you'd be better off, but the dollars probably aren't going to change the quality of your life. Now, if you live a decade longer, in that realm, that is potentially going to change the quality of your life. So it's worth thinking about. The other thing that's worth thinking about is who else might benefit from your benefits, your Social Security benefits. So if you have a spouse that's done well financially, but your benefits would be higher, particularly if as you continue to let it grow. If your spouse outlives you at your passing, or really at any time, your spouse can decide if they want to take their Social Security or half of your Social Security, you're the spouses. And so if by waiting you can increase that amount, then that can help your spouse out. So one thing to think about in addition to all this is who else benefits from by you waiting and increasing that benefit as long as possible. And then the other thing is just thinking about quality of life. Yes, it's nice to get 3/4, 75% more in your monthly paycheck, but every year we're getting older. Every year, the youth of our senior years is getting further in the horizon for us. So, at 62, you're right in the heart of the youth of your senior years, and there's a lot of things that you can go and do and enjoy. So yes, the extra money is nice, but it's also nice to be able to enjoy your money. Now, I mentioned earlier that penalty that the government puts on you. So if you're going to continue to work and if you make a lot of money, yes, it would be nice to get that Social Security benefit, but a lot of that's going to be whittled away. The other thing to think about is the taxation of Social Security, and maybe if you're thinking about doing some Roth conversions. If your Social Security is going to be taxable, and depending on how that impacts things, that might be another impetus to wait. Maybe not till 70, but maybe, certainly not 62 if you're worried about that taxation. So these are the things to think about. There really is no right or wrong. You have to do the analysis. There is probabilities involved. From a financial planning standpoint, we can solve a lot of problems with a lot of accuracy if we know when we're going to die. But fortunately, for most of us, we don't know when that's going to be. So you just make the most educated and the best decision that you can. I think a decision like this is important enough that you want to hire a fee-only financial advisor. You also want to think about watching this video here that talks about the reasons to retire and take Social Security at 62 as opposed to waiting till 70.